Hi, guys. Welcome back to my live. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to join in, hopefully. Okay. So today's session is about makeup brushes for a beginner's kit. Now, I have been doing makeup for years now, but I started my interest in beauty. Um, began when I joined POPxo and I started doing videos because then doing makeup was pretty much an everyday thing. It was a part of my job. And slowly I started educating myself on what products we should use, skin type, pigmentation, etc., about the products. Now that's when of course, I started buying products for myself. And for flawless application, you need tools, which is very, very important. Now, I started investing in brushes. I have worked with a lot of makeup artists, professionals, and they're brilliant. They do campaigns, magazine shoots, movies, ads. So I think the few tips that I got from them is what I'm going to share with you today. And it did help me a lot, and it saved me a lot of money as well. Now, makeup is luxury. You can spend as much as you want depending on your pocket, but when it comes to basics, I feel like if you're one person who likes to do makeup, who is a beauty enthusiast, these are the things that should be in your kit. It will only help you with your process, and it will only make it better. Now, brushes, first rule, which I very firmly believe, and I have done the same thing: never buy a set. When it comes to brush, don't buy a set, because you're not a makeup artist. You will never end up using those 22 brushes or a 32 brush set. You will never use all of the brushes. It will only, in fact, complicate things for you. You don't even know what the brush is for. Um, so never buy a set. Always go for loose brushes. I know this, obviously when you buy things in bulk it's slightly cheaper, but buying individual brushes is important for you because you know your face better. You will know what that brush does, how the application is, you would know how to use it. So, and you can invest in a nicer brush. Up set mein hamesha you'll go for a cheaper brand, and even if you go for an expensive brand, you might not get the right brush, because everything can have, like, even a foundation brush, you have like so many types. So I personally think the person who is just beginning to like make a kit, build a kit, and if you're not a makeup artist and you don't professionally have to take it up, you don't need a set. You just should go for like individual brushes. So I'm going to start with the first thing, which is your foundation brush. What I generally use is a beauty blender. I love a beauty blender. This is from Real Technique. I just put a little water, it becomes spongy, and then I dab my foundation with this. I think the quality, this is from Real Technique. I've also used a blender from Body Shop, which was really good. Both are expensive, but I think you do get cheaper beauty blenders, but I don't know if the quality is going to be as good as this. Beauty blender tends to absorb the product a little more as compared to a brush, but the finish is really nice. It's very smooth, so you won't have lines. And the second thing, some days when I don't feel like using this, I use a brush. This is my foundation brush. It is a pack 231. If you want, you can note down the numbers. It is extremely soft. The bristles are so nice. I mean, it's nice. It's dense. The bristles are extremely soft and feathery, and this gives me a very clean application and uses very little product. The best thing about this brush is that I genuinely just take one pump of my foundation and I just keep buffing it, and I feel like it's flawless. I won't call it airbrush, but it does feel like I have no product on, which is the kind of makeup I generally like. My makeup should be very skin like. You shouldn't be able to tell I have foundation on. So this is another thing that I use. Two things that I use for application of foundation. You can go for either or both. This is a pack 32, and this is Real Technique Beauty Blender. Now, second thing is, okay, what is the second thing? Concealer. Now, for the longest time, I used to use my ring finger for dabbing my concealer in, because you're not supposed to. I've seen a lot of people dragging. Okay, concealer, because it's a corrector, you're supposed to place the product. So what you do is you dab it in. You dab it in and you try to flatten it out and make it as smooth as possible, but you never drag it. So I was happy with my finger, but then I'd say I got introduced to another brush, and then once I started using this, there was no going back. Wonderful application, again, super smooth. The quality is brilliant. The bristles are soft and it's very dense. So it basically packing the product becomes really easy. And once I'm done, I don't see lines, I don't see cracks. And again, the same thing, very like the it requires very less product. So it doesn't absorb the product because it's a brush. So the blending becomes easier, also your hand movement, and it's very small if you see. I don't know if you can see it. So it's perfect when I want to like conceal my spots, my under eye, sometimes my lids. So it's pretty useful. This is from Real Technique again, and this is a RT300. It's actually a crease brush, but I can't use it on my crease because I wasn't comfortable. Like I couldn't blend with this one, but it works wonderfully as a concealer brush. So this is my Real Technique concealer brush. Again, I'll name it in case you guys are writing it down, RT300. After that, we have powder. Now, people use two types of brushes. One can be the extremely big one, like a very big brush, which is just to brush like a little powder all over your face. This I remember is some, I think I was in Thailand or somewhere and I bought, I think it's a dupe, or I don't even remember. I have this brush for a very long time, but I can't give it away because this feels amazing. This is, I have no idea what brush is this. I don't even have a number or name anymore because it's been like 7 years for this brush. No, not 7 years. Okay, 2, 3 years, 4 years. I don't know, long. So, but this is really nice. I generally use this when I want to like, once I'm done with my foundation, I'm done with my concealer. When I want to just set the face with the powder. So I use this big one for my entire face. So I'll just like dab it like this, very little powder, and I dab it all across. Now there's another one which is a tinier one, and you see it's a little tapered on the top. If you can see, it's a little dome. So this is from Pack, and this I use for setting my T-zone and my under eyes. So T-zone basically why? Because I need a little more product as compared to my face. That's the area which tends to get oily and crease, crease a lot, of course. So I need to set it nicely, and I need more product. So I use this brush, and this is small and tapered. So it's very easy for me to place the product. So if you see, this is how I'll pack it, and I'll do it upwards like that. So this is from Pack, and this is Pack 245. Honestly speaking, Real Technique and Pack are these are the two brands that I actually trust a lot. The brushes are great, the durability is great. I wouldn't say they are cheap, but they are not very expensive, because if you see Sigma and Morphe, those brushes are like in the range of Mac. They all are above 1500, and all these brushes are between the range of 500 to 800. Yeah, 500 to 800 range. So I would say it's not a cheap brand, but it's not that pocket heavy. Now once I've told you the powder brush, then we'll go to blush. Again, this is a pack brush. This is what I use for my blush. Same thing. This is a little different. Like generally you'll see a smaller top with a little more fluff on it, but this I like because I don't like to apply blush all over my cheeks like that. I am one person who, I mean, I like it a little more. How do I say? My application is more like contouring. So I go like a weird tight face. I get like a little ball here, the apple of my cheek. Then I start from the corner, and then I start building the product, but I swipe it up like that. Then a little bit on the brush, like do that on my nose, but mostly it's this. So I need my brush to be a little smaller and tapered, because I want my product to be in a certain place. I do not like extremely pink cheek. I'm one person who likes warmer shadows and lines on my face. So this is my blush brush. This is from Pack. This is 335. Again, super nice bristles, very dense and super light. And I feel like the best part about this is all the Pack brushes. It's very easy to blend. It's so light. Like It's very therapeutic. Like I love it on my skin, how it feels on my skin, and the results are brilliant. So this is my PAC 335 blush brush. After blush, we will do contouring. And for contouring and honestly, a bronzer and a contour, I generally do only one. I don't bronze and contour together. So I use this for both of it. This is my Real Technique sculpting brush, which is RT401. You can see it's an angled brush. It's perfect when I want to like, what I do is I'll pack a little product and then this, and then I'll start blending it like this. Right above, this is where I want the shadow to be, but I'll do it here. This is where I do it. And right from the middle of my ears. This is again very dense. So this is not fluffy. This is really dense. The bristles are super soft. And I think it costed me, this one was slightly expensive, I think $700. But I love this brush. This is one of my favorite brushes in the kit. This is done. Your contour is done. So basic face stuff is done. Now eyes is something I feel is very voluntary. If you are a person who likes to do shadow, like do eyeshadow and liner and stuff, you can invest in it, but I wouldn't say it's like a must for a beginner's kit. For the longest time, I used to just use my finger, but I would only go one color all over my lid and just put a liner to just light up my eyes, and that's about it. But now I try to like do a little smoky, do a little brown on the crease, and go a little lit in the middle. So I have a lot of brushes, but I'll tell you the three brushes that I use for blending. One is this, my application brush. So I have four. Actually, you can go for three, but I have four of these. One is, this is a small blending brush. You can see it's a little circular. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a small blending brush. So this is what you do when you want to like blend the crease outside and all over the thing. So this is my blending brush, which is PAC 260. Then I go for a smaller brush. This is more like an application brush. You will still need your blending brush to blend it later. It's not flat. It is slightly fluffy from this side, but it is not round. It's not a round brush. It's a flat brush. But again, it's a little poofy. I don't know how to show it to you. But this is from ProArte AE25. It works just fine. This is really cheap. ProArte, I'm not very convinced with the quality. It's not as great as Real Technique and PAC, but for the price, I really don't mind this brush. So this is more like when I want to like apply in the corners and go all the way into my lash line, and then I'll take my blending brush and start blending it and building the color. That's how I do it. Then I have this one. It's another Real Technique brush. This is RT301. This is my shadow brush, base shadow. So I try to do this when I'm doing the inner corner because it's slightly small. Again, this is a flatter brush, but it has a tapered top and it's slightly smaller. So the blending, especially inside and the middle, becomes really easy. And because the bristles are like, the top is slightly smaller and tapered, my color doesn't go all over the place and I get like a beautiful shape on my eye. Now this is my smudge brush. This I use for, because I have puffy eyes, I have to smoke my my lower lash line, and I love it. I think it makes your eyes look bigger and brighter. So this is from PAC again. This is PAC 208. So I'll take a little bit of shadow and then start smoking it out from the corner to the inside. If you can see, it's like a pencil, just a very hairy pencil. This is also super amazing, extremely dense. Like, it's not that fluffy, it's really dense. It's like if I am applying product, I have to make sure the product is really less because it does not have that space, and very little product is more than enough when you're using this brush. So I think more or less this is all you need for your basic kit. Again, for highlighter, I have two options. I have this this brush. This is a funny story. I just apply highlighter with this. It's a very soft brush. This is from Forever 21. One of my guy friends actually gifted me like a little set of Forever 21 brushes because he thought it was funny or whatever. He just didn't know. And he gave me this. All the rest of the brushes weren't good for, they weren't good. But this one stayed with me and this has become my highlighter brush and works just fine. So I just use a little bit of highlighter. It's very soft. It's very soft. I use a little bit of highlighter and use it on my high point. So I do not have anything, but this is like a forever brush. And I think the kit only costed them $600, which had like 5 to 7 brushes. So this must have been like what, $100, but it has stayed with me. Again, 5 years old, so I don't know what it is. But other than that, highlighter is something, again, it's optional. Not, I wouldn't say a beginner would go for a highlighter, or you can use your blush brush, clean it and use a blush brush for your highlighter. You can do that as well. But these are the basic brushes that I think a beginner's kit would need. So I think I showed you around 7 brushes, and they're like or neither. So you can go for a blender or a brush for your eyes, depending on how much experiment you do with your eyes. You can go for 4 brushes, 5 brushes, or even 2 works just fine. So yeah, guys, that's about it. I hope you wrote all the brushes that I have. These brushes are easily available online. I got all mine from Nika, and I think a couple of them from the pack website itself. So yeah, that's about it. I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for being. Well, thank you so much for being there for my session. Wow, it's been 16 minutes. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being patient. Love you. Bye.